Good morning, students. This is the lesson of class 7th for the subject of geography, topic Australia and introduction, which is covered in chapter 13 Australia, location, political divisions, and physical features. Starting on page number 136 of your textbook and is being submitted to you on 10th of May 2021. Australia, or the island continent, is located in the southern hemisphere. It is the world's smallest continent and occupied by a single country. It is the sixth largest country of the world and is almost double the size of India. Discovery of Australia. Australia was the first sighted by the Dutch navigator William Jensen in 1606. During 17th century, Dutch navigators went around the Australian mainland but made no efforts to settle there. Captain James Cook, a British seaman, reached the eastern coast of Australia in 1770 and named it New South Wales. It became the first colonial settlement in the country, and by 1829 Britain also established its control over the Western Australia. Many Europeans migrated to Australia after gold was first found in this continent. On January 1st, 1901, the Federation of Six Colonies was formed, and Commonwealth of Australia was established as a domain of Britain. Later, with the passing of Australia Act in 1986, all constitutional ties between Australia and Britain ended. Henceforth, Australia could manage its own political affairs without any interference from Britain. Location of Australia. Australia lies entirely in the southern hemisphere between the Indian Ocean and South Pacific Ocean. Due to this, it is referred as the southern continent or the land down under. Along with New Zealand and its neighboring island, it is called Oceania. Its extent is the continent stretches from 10 degrees south to 40 degrees south latitude and 114 degree east to 154 degree east longitude. The Tropic of Capricorn passes almost through the middle of this continent. You can refer the map given on page number 137 of your textbook. The Indian Ocean washes its shores in the west. The Pacific lies to its north and east, and Southern Ocean border it in the south. The neighboring countries of Australia, it is separated from Indonesia by Arafura Sea. Torres Strait separates it from the island of Papua New Guinea. Bass Strait forms the border between Australia and New Zealand, and Southern Ocean lies between the island continent and Antarctica. Now children, this is the question time. So your questions are, who named the eastern coast of Australia as New South Wales? Number 2, what other terms are used for Australia? Number 3, how Australia and New Zealand are separated. So you may now pause the lesson for 3 minutes. So now children, let us discuss their answers. Answer number 1, Captain James Cook. Answer number 2, Southern Continent and Land Down Under. Number 3, Bass Strait separates Australia and New Zealand. Now let us discuss about the political division of Australia. Australia is divided into 6 self-governing states and 2 centrally administered territories. The self-governing states are Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, Western Australia and Tasmania, whereas the centrally administered territories are Northern Territory and Australian Capital Territory. You can notice it here within the political map of Australia. Now let us discuss about the physical features of Australia. The entire continent of Australia presents almost flat lowlands or plains. Australia does not have high mountains like our Himalayas. The average elevation of the land here is only 300 meters above the sea level. It has 34,218 kilometer long coastline, which is more or less regular. There are 2 major indentations as Gulf of Carpentaria in the north and Great Australian Bight in the south. Australia is divided into 4 broad regions, and today we'll discuss one of them, that is the Western Plateau. The western part of Australia is a vast plateau covering more than half of the country. It includes Western Australia, Northern Territory and parts of South Australia. It is an ancient plateau made up of very hard rock. The western margins of the plateau drops abruptly to the sea. There are a few mountain ranges that rise from the flat plateau with peaks as Darling Range, Hamersley Range, McDonald's Range and Musgrave Range. The most interesting feature here is the largest single rock, the Ayers Rock. Do you know how big it is? You will have to walk 10 kilometers to go around it once. In local language, Ayers Rock is called Uluru, meaning place where the wind mourns between dawn and dusk. It is sacred to the Aborigine people of the area. Uluru is listed as the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Much of the interior of the plateau is desert. The Great Sandy Desert, Gibson Desert and Great Victorian Desert. The Western Plateau is rich in mineral resources. It has deposits of iron ore, uranium, lead, copper, nickel, etc. Cultivable land and livestock stations are located in the southern part of the plateau. So students, this is all about the Western Plateau of Australia. Now your homework is on the political map of Australia, mark the 6 states and 2 federal territories. And also note down the glossary terms given in your textbook, page number 143. So with this, I conclude today's interactive session. Thank you.